All right, thanks, Katie. Hi, Dr. Page. Thanks so much to everyone for joining tonight. I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. It is 7:01, so we'll get started. I know everyone is busy with Maycember events, as they say, end of year 5 things in a night. My name is Julia Silla. I'm the secretary of PTAC, and I'm filling in tonight to facilitate the meeting for Katie, who is here, but also at a kid event at the same time. So she's hoping to pop in towards the end of our meeting this evening. And if you're just joining, if you don't mind putting your name and unit in the chat, that would be amazing. Okay. Well, let me just see if we have, oh, hi, Heather. Glad you could join us tonight. Um,
I
so
just finished our PTA meeting where we had a spam bot come in, so I'm a little let's just say I was like, wow, I'm going out with a bang, having some interesting things come on. So just fair warning, they're out tonight. It's
oh,
very interesting.
thanks for letting us know that that happened to me during COVID, and it was really scary.
Yeah, it was like we can't move fast enough to get this off the screen. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry that happened.
no,
That's
all good.
unsettling.
Luckily, our principal was speaking and was like, "This is not our school representing anything right now." So, but that was but here I am tonight. So
Oh, well, thank you. And not to throw you right into the spotlight, but I think, Katie, if you don't mind advancing our slides, we're going to start tonight with a presentation from Patrick Henry K-8 and to talk a little bit about your fun run and activities and perhaps inspiration for our George Mason Ramsey swing space extravaganza that might benefit from your experience next year.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. Do you mind if I take over the screen real quick?
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you. All right, and I see that Polk is on here too, Kate. I think I saw you on here too. So this past weekend on Saturday, despite not having power at the Patrick Henry School and Rec Center, we hosted our fourth annual fun run. And here are just a few pictures and highlights from this amazing event that we've hosted. This year we had probably, I would say, about 250 or so participants from both schools, which is really exciting. This is the fourth year that we have hosted this in conjunction with Polk Elementary. The first year we did participate with Douglas MacArthur, who was on the swing, who was using the old Patrick Henry as their swing space. So it was a really nice way to bring together the different schools. Partnering with Polk specifically because we're just a half a mile apart from each other, and the route runs from the bus loop of Patrick Henry to Polk and back. And it's just an incredible community event. And again, despite not having any power at the school, in the far back corner of one of those pictures, we had the Kona ice truck was there. We had Tom's coffee truck there. So we kind of were trying to engage with the community, say, you don't have power, but we've got sugar and coffee for you over here, and to bring some folks there. We worked with a lot of our local families and businesses as well to be able to get sponsorship for this event. So this event was at a $0 cost for the attendees, for all the participants, and they all got a t-shirt. You can kind of see here are some of our winners, but they all got a t-shirt as well as a water bottle. And then we were able to give out prizes as well to some of our top finishers and runners. And then we had a teacher as well as one of our parents just really dress up in these like fun little outfits. So it is probably one of my most favorite events that we've done. And I just love because of our proximity to Polk, this event that we do with them, as well as our fall movie night has been a really fun way of like bringing together our communities, consolidating efforts from planning and soliciting volunteers as well. And I think next year, I know Kate's on here. I'm actually stepping down as president, but I'll obviously still be quite involved. I think we'd love to get Hammond involved next year, again, with their proximity to the school and how Patrick Henry is still a K through 8 school currently, and bringing in some more middle school participation. So just a really fun event that we had, and we're able to do.
And Heather, you totally killed it. This is Kate. It was great.
Thank you. That's me right here, having fun with my megaphone. So I love this. It's really fun. There's definitely some more permitting work that goes into it. And that's the only thing that I would just share for anybody who's interested in hosting a run. We had to do like a special event permit, a noise ordinance permit, but we worked with the local police and sheriff. It does help that the sheriff's student or children do go to Polk and Hammond, but we've got great relationships with the city, and that's been the best part of it all.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I love the photos and for persevering after that storm and everything else. That's incredible. So, congratulations for such a successful event and for sharing. Any questions for our speakers before we move on? Oh, yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, T-Rex. I love it. Well, next we're going to move to Dr. Clinton Page is here representing Dr. Kay Wyatt this evening. So, Dr. Page, I will pass the mic to you.
Thank you so much, Julia, and thanks everyone for having me. Dr. Kay Wyatt certainly sends her regards. She's at an event at Amazon this evening, so unfortunately couldn't make it. But we have a couple updates, and along with the May-Cember theme, we are going to try and keep things moving, as I know we are all busy, and it's the time of year where it kind of feels like you're just holding on. It's just holding on and let June 13th potentially come, for me, both from a staff and parent perspective. So I'm going to share my screen and just go through a couple slides that Dr. K. Wyatt wanted to be sure that I shared with you all this evening. So just running through these quickly, we'll talk a little bit about just academic advisement and some reminders there. Talk about a wonderful event in terms of celebrations of learning and project-based learning that happened at the mini Howard campus last night. Quick update on the governor's health sciences. I will briefly touch on redistricting, but I know Dr. Reef, I think, is going to provide some additional information there as well in her updates. And then we'll talk a little budget and a little moving forward. So, in terms of academic advisement reminders, I'm not going to read. There's a lot of content on these next couple slides. This is just more of a reminder. This is information that has been actively pushed out, I know, by Ms. Hardaway and by the team, by Mr. Duncan over at the high school, but just that we are approaching the deadline of May 30th. So making sure that families are aware of that in terms of any course request changes. Then you see the additional timelines that come on as we return to school in terms of August 7th to 15th, what's getting communicated there. And then also August 13th when schedules are going live in Power School. As we kind of continue to advance and refine the Academy's model, there are some things that I know the high schools wanted to be specific about in terms of how the process will go this year, specific to academic advisement. So here you're kind of seeing what will be the process in terms of any schedule corrections, et cetera, and what will be allowed or not allowed to be adjusted in that August 18th to August 22nd window prior to the start of school. And then that is it for the academic advisement updates. Again, that is information I know that has been actively pushed out by our high school team. In terms of the event that went on around project-based learning, that happened last night. It was a fantastic event at Mini Howard. So really taking a look at all of the amazing projects and learning and experiences that our students our teachers and our community partners have had throughout the year as it relates to the projects and the work they've done. And just a reminder, when we talk about project-based learning, it's really thinking about it as a critical lever for us in our educational delivery, where each student is really engaging in that authentic learning experience, really seeking discovery, and really seeing the application, right, of learning and moving beyond books and notebooks and into real world, hands-on, enriching experiences where they are offered opportunities to, have something not go the way they'd planned it to go, and then learn from that and make adjustments, right, and work in teams and all the amazing things that we know project-based learning offers to our students. As we also think about project-based learning, continuing to center our vision for our learners within Alexandria City Public Schools in terms of what we really seek, in terms of what we hope students are able to gain as they exit out of Alexandria City Public Schools, in terms of being a critical thinker, being able to collaborate and work in teams, being able to advocate both for themselves and for important issues, being able to communicate well, having that innovative bone, and also always focusing on how I can change and better both myself, my environment, as well as the environment and context for others. Quick update on the Governor Health Sciences Academy. So we are excited to be moving forward with a new partner in our Governor's Health Sciences Academy, which will be Northern Virginia Community College. And that will start next school year. And you can see here some of the things that the NOVA partnership supports: offers, program sustainability, expanded DE opportunities, industry recognized certifications, and you can read the rest of those there. So that is something we are very excited about, and thinking about how those can offer also pathways into our state institutions in terms of Virginia Tech, UVA, and GMU as students move on from their K-12 experience and into the post-secondary world. Redistricting update. So I know, as I mentioned, Dr. Reef, I think, has some topics to share there. I just wanted to quickly go through key dates. There are a lot of dates here. A lot of them are in the past in terms of key things that have happened from kind of the end of April to now. But if you look in the final steps, you'll see some bolded content there, starting with today, which we had a steering committee today at 3 o'clock. And then upcoming meetings include May 29th, where the boundaries and policies will be presented and discussed with the full board. There will then be an additional opportunity for another public hearing on June 5th. Then there will be a final steering committee meeting on June 11th, and then a board decision on boundaries on board for June 12th. So that is where we are in terms of just meetings that are going on around redistricting as we continue to work through that process and get closer and closer to the 12th. And then these are kind of the always slides in terms of any questions or feedback. Please ensure that those are going to those places at Ask. And then also in terms of moving forward, we are, believe it or not, still in our budget season. It is the gift that keeps on giving. It is not a January or February, or even if you're talking CIP, November topic. It is largely a full year discussion. So we have an add delete budget work session on May 27th. So that will be taking place. So please do tune in for that information. We have our graduation on May 28th, which is a Wednesday. So just a reminder, for certainly those of us who are at the high school level or attend graduation, that is happening on a weekday this year. And also for families who are not in the high school, but just a reminder that that is not a school day, as that is going to be an additional professional learning day for our staff to meet the Virginia state requirement in terms of the new Literacy Act and the required trainings for staff that the state rolled out this school year. We talked about redistricting and the public hearing. And then last but not least, we have the Joint City Council School Board meeting happening on June 23rd. We also know June 13th is the last day of school. And then we also know that June 23rd is our start of summer learning, which I know we are so excited about all the opportunities that we have set up for our students over the summer months. With that, I think that is what we have or what I have for you all. So happy to take any questions at this point. I'm going to stop my share. Yeah, Sue.
Hi, we had a question this week about the transition from, I guess it was George Washington University to Nova for the Health Academy. The PTSA had a question about that and what was the reasoning behind that. I think the concern was there wasn't as many, I guess, research abilities with Nova. So that was just a question that came up.
Yep. So what I can share with you around that is GWU, I know, has been a fantastic partner with us over recent years as it relates to the Health Sciences Academy. And they have indicated that they would like us not to share publicly in terms of the reasons for them exiting that MOU, but we, are leaving on great terms. They are great partners. But for very valid reasons, we all deal in organizations with constraints and other things that can happen that can lead us in different ways. So that is the amount I'm able to share on the
Thank you.
GWU front.
So it's the same program mostly for the academy, but it's just we're just changing partners. Is that the way you're looking at it? Or that's the way we should be communicating it?
I think that's a high level summary. I mean, I think there are going to be, right, some differences in terms of what Nova can offer, like we talked about in the slides, in terms of some of the specific access points to state institutions and some other things. So I know there will be additional information coming out as we continue to communicate out about the Nova partnership. So I would just be on the
Okay.
lookout for that.
I was just curious, only because of that May 30th deadline for the new academies and things and the curriculum for next year. So that was just another question that came up as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I had just to piggyback on Sue's question. I noticed that the original partnership included funding, like a grant from the state of Virginia, and you may not be able to answer this, Dr. Page, but I was curious, like, was that funding provided to GW and did they deliver that mobile health unit that was supposed to come from that funding, or is this a question for GW or the state of Virginia? It was just it's a quick turnaround to leave the partnership. And so I was wondering if they met the obligations for the grant that they received.
And I am not sure on all of those details, but I'm sure that's something that we can have an answer for. I'm certain our TLL department and others who work closely with that partnership have that information, so we can certainly get that.
Great, thank you. Any other questions, redistricting questions, or do we want to say, I know maybe I should wait till Dr. Reef presents. Any other questions on um, upcoming deadlines, end of year events?
Ooh, one more shameless plug that I have. How could I forget my own shameless plug? We will have a webinar tomorrow night, starting at 6 p.m. on the new Virginia accountability system for families. And so that is going to be intended just as an overview, right? So, the rubber is not going to hit the road or proverbial road until fall when the new statuses are provided by the state for each school across the state. But we wanted an opportunity for our families to begin to understand what this new accountability system is, what key differences are, and some of those topics. So we'll be going over that tomorrow. We have kept all math equations out of the presentation for tomorrow evening, so do not worry about that. And want to make it relatable and accessible for our families. So we will provide some information and then also, take questions via the chat, etc., from folks who are able to join. And that will also be recorded, as we know it is a very busy time of year. So if you aren't able to join, that recording will be available.
That's great. And just as a follow-up on the new delivery of test assessment results, will the SOL results be sent in a similar way to the spring map results, Dr. Page? Or like with
Yeah,
the
so
emails and
it will
everything?
be sent in digital document delivery.
Big digital.
So yeah, that is the current plan there. So we'll likely be doing those on a rolling basis once the testing window concludes. So typically we get our elementary results out first in the timeline. So we will kind of follow a similar timeline with our digital document delivery as we have in the past with the printed reports.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else for Dr. Page? Thanks for joining us again. I know it is a busy
Absolutely.
time of year. We appreciate it. Um, Dr. Reef, I will turn it to you.
All right, good evening, everyone. There is a lot going on, and I am going to talk a little bit about redistricting in a minute. I thought Mr. Harris was going to join me. I know he's had a really busy week, so it may have slipped his mind, but I know Dr. Page is here, so maybe he can support if I need it too. But um, just a couple things as far as what's going on. Tomorrow night is the Scholarship Fund of Alexandria. They have their award ceremony at the high school, so that's always a fun event. Looking forward to that. Next week, the school board has a really busy week. We have on Tuesday night, we have a work session to talk about our budget add deletes. So those, I believe they'll be posted. We're going through the process where board members are figuring out what they plan to co-sponsor, and that list should be posted on Monday, I believe, and then we'll be talking about those at our work session on Tuesday. Before the work session, we have every year we do the student art showcase where we change out the student artwork in the boardroom. So we invite all of the students who have new artwork that's going to be installed to come with their families and see it. So we'll be doing a little reception for them. We also have a public hearing at 6 p.m. on the Memorandum of Understanding with the Alexandria Police Department for, that's the document that governs our school resource officer program. And in all the busyness, I don't know if you all remember, but we had last year we had it was called the SLEP Committee 2.0 or something like that. It was 2 school board members and 2 city council members who kind of met and talked through some recommendations, I guess, to make for that MOU. And so that MOU is due to be renewed on July 1st. So we have, so it is posted on the website. It's in board docs with the public hearing agenda, the draft MOU, so you can see the red line changes on there. So we'll have that public hearing at 6 p.m. And then after that will be our budget work session. And then we'll get up early in the morning on Wednesday for graduation. And of course, you all know the all-night grad party is that evening. And I know there's lots of other promotion ceremonies for 5th graders and 8th graders happening across the division. And then on Thursday, boy, we're going to have a whopper of a school board meeting next Thursday. In fact, we might need to peel something off this agenda, but let me tell you what all we have going on. We have the Ann Lipnick Awards, which is our for specialized instruction, which our Special Education Advisory Committee is involved in giving those awards. We have VIP awards for our licensed staff and specialists. We're recognizing our outgoing student representatives. We're going to be wearing orange for gun violence awareness because the first weekend in June is the Wear Orange weekend, and there'll be a big event at Market Square on Friday, June 6th. But we're going to reaffirm our resolution on gun violence prevention. We're going to hear the nominations for the Athletic Hall of Fame, I believe. We're going to get the redistricting recommendations, and we're also going to get the draft priority areas for the 25-26 school year. So there's a lot going on. We might be there a little late, but we'll see. And then the following Thursday, June 5th, is our public hearing on redistricting. And then our last school board meeting of the year is June 12th, where we will adopt the budget, adopt the redistricting boundaries, and we will adopt the priority areas for next school year. A couple other things I wanted to announce. On May 8th, the school board adopted our new strategic plan. So actually, let me put it in the chat, because if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I know Dr. Page will appreciate that I'm recommending that you all read this, because the strategic plan is going to guide our policy, budget, programmatic, and operational decisions for the next 5 years. This is going to be our North Star. So I really want to encourage you all to, when you have time, of course, like, please take some time to review our strategic plan. We had a committee of folks that worked really hard on it, and I think we're really happy for where we landed with that. So you can see what goals we're working to achieve in the next 5 years. And you also may have heard on Saturday, the City Council at their public hearing, they approved the DSUP for the George Mason modernization. They did add a condition about the fencing. Rather than having it around the field, they wanted to move it in around the playground area. So I know that there's some kind of discussion happening in the community around that. So you may hear more, but at least we know that project's moving forward. So we're really excited about that. So I see Mr. Harris is here. Mr. Harris, now he had a 3-hour strategic, well, not strategic planning, oh my goodness, redistricting steering committee meeting today. So I know he might be a little tired, but what I can share, and I don't know, we can pull up some of the slides. I thought maybe for the middle school discussion, it might be helpful, but basically the steering committee did an exercise where they recommended 3 of the plans to move forward to the school board for consideration, which was the triangle 2 plan, the circle plan, and the triangle 3 plan. That was the order of their votes from the vote count. So triangle 2, circle, and triangle 3. And so I think, and Mr. Harris, you can jump in on this, but I think the idea is they're not coming to the board with just one plan recommendation, but they're bringing these 3 options for us to deliberate on and consider. Before I talk at all about middle school and what you all discussed today, is there anything else you want to add to that, Mr. Harris?
No, I think you covered. I'm still here. I just now got finished sitting with Matt, so we was going over it a little bit more. It's been a rough one. It's been a rough one. But yeah, to your point, we're gonna elevate three maps to the board. Again, to your point, triangle 2, circle, and triangle 3. And all of them have different nuances, and we'll be able to discuss those before we vote, of course. And in addition to that, we're gonna continue the conversation on the middle school maps. We really can't make a decision on that until we decide which elementary school map we're going to choose, and that will dictate, the effects of the middle school map based on that. Today we went over the policies to make sure that the verbiage and the corrections that we discussed last week are aligned, and we are looking forward to move that up to the board for further discussion as well. So I think we're pretty much on point, on pace for our June 12th vote. Of course, we have the public meeting on, I think, June 5th, I believe. And we're moving ahead. It's this decision is right around the corner, and not
Yes.
soon enough.
So yeah, just to kind of reiterate what I expect to happen at the board meeting next week is that we'll have a presentation. They'll go over the 3 maps that are up for consideration by the board. And then we've been, and I don't know how closely everyone here has been following, but we have been also having separate conversations about all of our school board policies that touch in some way on redistricting. And so through those conversations, we've basically given direction for at least the majority of the board, like where we want to see the policies, land. And so our policy consultants been working to add in all those red line edits to the existing policies. And so those are also going to be presented next Thursday as a package. So he'll walk us through all of those different policies and the recommended changes. So it might take a little while, but and so those will all be presented kind of like for information on next Thursday at the meeting, and then we'll have the public hearing on June 5th, and then our plan is to vote to, accept all those policies, or if we, choose to make any edits to them. And then also, the maps, the boundaries on June 12th. Yeah, Mr. Harris.
Yeah, I got one question, and I've gotten this question several times since the meeting ended. There will be no more new maps. We have 5 and we are selecting from 3, but there are going to be no more new maps. There may be some micro adjustments to a map that we may choose, but new maps, no, there will not be any new maps. It was tried today. We tried to slip a new map in there today, but there will be no more new maps.
So maybe can I just share my screen for a minute, and I'll just kind of show you all what this presentation from today. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna make this bigger. I don't know if you all can see this. To make it. Sorry, I don't know how to. Oh, hold on a second. Here's the. I don't know if I can make this, but I have a very small little laptop here that I'm working with.
We can see that, Michelle. I think
Okay,
that's fine.
all right.
Yeah, if you want.
So yeah, so down here, there's a lot. So this is posted in board docs. So if you go down, way down here, so one of the things that this slide here talks about is right now the way our middle schools are set up right now is this feeder pattern. So these are the elementary schools that feed into George Washington and Hammond. And as it says right here, this practice is contributing to the utilization imbalances between George Washington and Francis Hammond middle schools. So the need for the Douglas MacArthur attendance area to move west causes utilization imbalances to grow at George Washington Middle School. So if we try to keep the feeder pattern, it's going to even further exacerbate the overutilization at George Washington. So neither school can completely absorb the Douglas MacArthur attendance area. So basically, what MGT talked about is that there are kind of like 3 options for middle school. So one is to try to follow those feeder patterns, but again, that creates the imbalance. Another one is to keep kind of the middle school boundaries for, at least for George Washington and Francis Hammond, essentially where they are right now, but to add in specifically the boundaries for the K-8 schools, for the middle school portion of the K-8 schools. And then on some of the elementary maps that have been presented, you may have seen this split down Quaker Lane for the middle schools, GW and Hammond. And part of that is designed to try to balance the utilization between the 2 schools. So it goes through some options. I mean, I would encourage you all to just kind of look through these slides on your own, because it's a lot to review right now. But what I would just want to highlight is this was what was presented that they went over as well. So you have each of the plans, the square, circle, and the various triangle plans. And then those 3 options, the feeder, trying to follow the feeder pattern, keeping the boundaries how they are, which is referred to as option B, status quo, or having that divide between Quaker Lane. So you can see I mean, I'm sure like this is something that you're going to need to, if you're interested in this topic, you're going to have to take some time to review these slides to see what they show. But as Mr. Harris was saying, what elementary school boundary we go with then is going to impact the middle school decision. So I can share a link to this. It's in board docs, this presentation, but I would just encourage you, if you're interested in this topic, to check out these slides that were just presented today. So I'm going to stop sharing. And it's a lot of information. I mean, it's been a lot. You can see it's a lot of information to try to process. But I think we're feeling. I think that we're feeling like we're getting to a place where we're going to be able to make a decision. But I'd love to hear any questions or feedback that you want to share with us.
Sue, go ahead.
I had a question. Is the middle school that you just described, is that a different decision than approving the maps for redistricting?
No. So the
Oh, it's
idea
part
is,
of redistricting?
yes, we would
Oh.
be, yes, we would be approving, I mean, because once the elementary school boundaries change, that impacts the middle school boundaries. Right now, we've been using a feeder pattern, but the feeder pattern is going to exacerbate utilization. It's going to create like too much overutilization at GW, if we kept Douglas MacArthur as a feeder into GW. So we need to figure out, we need to make a decision on the middle school boundaries as well. So,
Right.
yeah.
But we, as Mr. Harris knows from our meeting on Monday, none of this is adding one seat to either middle school. So no matter how you draw the boundaries for the elementary schools, it's still going to be overutilization in both Francis Hammond and George Washington.
Yes, that's correct.
So that's, I hope, is just clear to people, just because it doesn't really matter. We're still going to be over capacity in both
Yeah.
schools quite significantly.
Well, it does matter because one scenario puts
Right.
GW at 140%,
Yeah.
which is untenable, and the other options balance
Current
it.
option or puts it at 140.
Yes, ma'am.
The way it's okay. So that means MacArthur, the full new MacArthur going to GW.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
So we think that, of course, we haven't decided on any option yet, but we think that's untenable. And we have a couple of options that would kind of balance it between both schools. And I think those are the real options right there. We're going to present all options to the board and give some data and information to let the board know why that is not a good option, based on our recommendations. But that's not an option that we're looking at. But we do have two options that may balance it a little bit better. There is no perfect scenario, and to your point, it does not create any new seats. We're just moving kids from one school to the other and trying to balance it a little bit better than it is.
Yeah, I think just to reiterate, our goal is to optimize the utilization at the K-8 middle school seats, and then to balance, to just balance that overutilization, so that it's not like so lopsided at one school or the other. But of course, we know we need to add middle school capacity. I mean, that is why, we had the K-8 study, and that is why we voted on that conversion. But there's I think if you watched our budget work session, that we're talking about that in our budget work session. We'll probably be talking about it again at our budget work session on Tuesday. And what I expect is that's going to be a huge focus when we start our CIP budget conversations in the fall, which is usually like the first meeting in November is when the CIP budget is presented to the school board.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any last questions for Mr. Harris or Dr. Reef?
Hey, this is Kate Moore Rodriguez from Polk, and this is going to be a bit of an off-the-wall question, so bear with me. But I wanted to kind of ask you about something sort of related to this that I heard from another individual, and I was wondering if you could confirm this, whether I heard that there were cases where some of the RAC members and representatives were being targeted by members of the community, like they were reaching out to their personal work, not their work emails, like separate from whatever emails they provided for their RAC positions. Are those instances of harassment actually happening? Is that something you guys could confirm? Because I'm horrified if that's the case. And I just wonder if that's something that we should be taking back to our schools to remind everyone, that this should be a civil and respectful process.
I'll let Mr. Harris take that question.
I cannot confirm or deny that, but I did hear of a few instances where a RAC member was contacted by email, personal email, based on some comments that was made at the last RAC meeting. So I can't confirm that, but I heard that that is the case. Yes.
Okay, well, thanks for confirming, and I'm really disappointed to hear that.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Kate, for that. Any other questions before? Hi, Katie. She's back. Any other questions before we move on? Well, thanks again for coming. I know there's been so many meetings today alone, Mr. Harris, so thank you for sticking with us. Appreciate it. And thanks, Kate, for that. Hopefully we can bring those reminders back that this is we know it's a challenging process all around, but people have stepped up to volunteer to do their best, and we hope that the community will appreciate their service. Any
Thank you.
other questions? Okay. All right, Katie, do you mind resharing our PTAC slides? Thank you. Yes, we have some exciting updates to share. I see Katie's back. So Katie, if you want to jump in at any time, because you were there, but we want to recognize some exciting awards that were made by the Virginia State PTA to several of our community members, including Dr. Kay Wyatt, who was recognized as the Power Partner Superintendent of the Year. We also had our very own Maureen McNulty, who was recognized as Child Advocate of the Year. I think many of us on PTAC can say that Maureen is our mentor, inspiration, keeps us going, keeps us grounded, and we really appreciate you, Maureen. So thanks for that, and congratulations. Yay. And then we had two of our units highlighted as impactful PTAs of the year, which is amazing. So George Mason and Lyles Crouch. So congratulations, really impressive. And again, I think just a testament to the power of our different units and all the volunteers that make that do their best to bring community into schools and schools into our community. So really grateful for that, and I'm proud that you all were represented for your service. And sorry, Katie, go ahead if you want to add anything else.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I'm sorry, you all. I've been driving and single parenting, and I have a child in a swimsuit who's trying to get on camera. But I just want to agree. Thank you all, or thank you to Maureen for all that she has done. We were so excited to celebrate her and Dr. Kay Wyatt and Lyles Crouch and George Mason. It was a really fun night. And as you can see, everybody got super dressed up in a 20s theme. And so just we're really grateful for all of the ways in which the school system and the PTAs have been partnering. It's really great. And thank you, Julia. You've been doing a lovely job.
Thanks, Katie. All right, moving on.
Are we
going to talk about the fact that we have two PTAC members who have been nominated to the?
Oh no, I wasn't going to talk about that at all, Maureen. But
They've actually been
elected, successfully elected.
Yes, elected, right. So Katie will be serving as the VP of Advocacy for Virginia PTA next year, which is a really big job. And you're going to do fantastic, Katie. And our very own Meta will be serving as VP of Leadership, which is perfect. She's going to be mentoring other units in the state. And so I'm just so proud of you too. You're just still like young PTA people, and you're taking on these massive jobs. So really, really impressive. And we appreciate everything you've done for PTAC for the last few years. And here you are taking your wings and flying on to bigger and better things. So
Well, thank
thanks
you.
again, you too.
Thank you, Martin. I just want to say I blame you. But your example. So here we go. And I told Maureen over the weekend she wasn't allowed to actually leave us. We'd still be like phone a friending, especially come January when the budget gets released again. So thank you, Maureen. And yay, Meta. Yeah. So I think that is it for our like fun stuff. We're gonna move on to business. And as usual, Dr. Reith and Dr. Page, you are welcome to hang around. We always love having you. We're gonna have a little election in a minute. Super fun. I will say now that I'm on the camera, Dr. Page, I'm disappointed there will be no math tomorrow. I was really looking forward to it. I have to add that.
Well, there will be a little arithmetic, but it's not there. It's like people, so it's not too mathy.
Thank you. And I just wanted to thank Mr. Harris. I know you've had like a 7-hour meeting so far today, so thank you for coming to this as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's been a long day, I think. So for our housekeeping things, I was gonna say we had annual meeting on Saturday after the awards on Friday. Terry was there along with Meta, and then two of our friends from Lyles Crouch came, Tiffany Dixon and Paige Guthrie, who will be the president next year. And it was a really fun day. We got to here's some inspirational and slightly depressing words from Ann Holton, who is on the Board of Education for the state about the state of public education currently. And I think her take-home message that I took was like, we really still need PTAs to stay super involved in schools and keep fighting for our kids. So we appreciate all of you that are here. Meta and Terry, would either of you want to add anything about Saturday? And the sea of blue? No? Okay. The next thing I wanted to add was last summer we did some very successful summer financial swaps where units came together and we reviewed each other's books, and we had a few people that had more knowledge than me because I am not a treasurer, friends. And I think we're going to do it again. So our plan is to do that on 7/13, which is I believe a Sunday, and then again a little later in the summer, 8/17, from 2 to 4. I have not confirmed yet with Terry or Cynthia, but I was again thinking the library because there is air conditioning, which I appreciate in the middle of summer. And so please let your units know. We'd love to have you. It did make financial reviewing so much easier, I think. At least that was my impression. And so we would love to have you. Okay. Thank you, Meta. I thought the library was great too, because you can get a book and review your books. It's awesome. It's like double the fun. Okay, next slide, please. Another big important thing for units that you need to know is that dues are going up. You can thank National PTA for this. I will tell you that Meta and I went and voted last summer and tried to not have this happen along with Virginia PTA, but they moved forward anyway. So instead of $2.25 a member, it's going to be $3.25 to National PTA. When you include the Virginia PTA dues, that turns from $3.75 a member to $4.75 for a member. So what this means for you is either whatever, if you normally charge $10 per member for your unit, you're gonna lose $1 basically. So that might be fine for you, and that's cool. Just FYI, you'll be giving more to give backs next year. There is a nice little warning when you log in. If that's not okay for you, you might want to consider increasing your dues for your unit, and you can do that using the bylaws update form, correct, Cynthia? Is that correct? Yes, Cynthia's waving her head. Yes.
The organizational bylaw document. Yep.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Mhm.
That's fairly easy to do. You just let your membership know and you vote 30 days later. If you have any questions about this, please email Cynthia or me, but she's better at the budget, or both of us, and we'll get your answer. Okay. Next slide, please. Oh, I get to turn it back to Julia.
Who is searching for the mute button? Sorry. I'm trying to take notes and find the mute button. Well, we're really excited today to present or to vote on the slate that we presented last month with a few nominations from the floor. So we have some exciting additions to our slate. VP of Outreach, we have Evan Wilson, who's the current president of Mount Vernon Community School. And we're really, I think all of you probably heard and have benefited from his expertise and sharing his skills on hybrid meetings and assorted other community engagement activities that he's been working on. So we're really excited to have him on board. And then for the treasurer position, we have Vivian Ramirez, who was a former MVCS treasurer and is excited to come on board and follow, I'm sure, in the footsteps of our amazing treasurer, Cynthia. So this is our slate that we're voting, what we present to vote on tonight. Katie, do you want to?
So do we have any other nominations from
Yes,
the
any
floor?
other
Anyone
nominations from the
itching
floor?
to be the VP of programs? Maureen, you came off camera. Is that a sign? You I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. Anybody else have any friends they want to throw under the bus and offer up as a VP of programs? We did have a senator at the award ceremony on Friday say she got her start by being voluntold into the president of the PTA. If not, I believe we can make a motion to call a vote for the 2025-2026 slate, including 2 members nominated from the floor, VP of Outreach, Evan Wilson, and Treasurer Vivian Ramirez. Do I have anyone to support that?
Second the motion.
For the sake of note taking, should we all put a emoji thumbs up in our, would that be convenient? To all just put thumbs up, Julia?
That'd be great. Thank you.
So all in favor, do a thumbs up.
Let the record show Evan supports this plan.
Oh, yep, Evan voted up. That's great. Love that.
Thank you all.
It looks like, oh, I'm getting them in the chat too. That's awesome.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
We'll just give Julia a second to record whatever she needs to
you.
record.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
And then I guess we need to say, if anyone is opposed, you can put a different emoji up, like a thumbs down, if you can find that. And if you're opposed, you're automatically voted in. Just kidding. Okay, it looks like nobody is saying opposed. So congratulations. We are so excited to have all of you. We are excited about some fresh volunteers who have new exciting ideas. Terry, we are so excited about you and all the great things you're going to do. Do you want to say anything? Does anyone want to say anything? Like a hello? No.
I think I should.
Meta.
Terry, you are going to be great. I had the pleasure of traveling with you to the annual meeting, and I love all of your ideas and your insight, and you are going to be wonderful. I came into this like with no prior experience other than being part of a PTA, and you're doing great things already, and I'm sure you're going to continue to do great things in your year.
Well, we are all going to figure it out together.
Yes. It's a team here.
Yes.
Yes.
We are all still here and we are so excited. It's going to be
Well,
great.
thank you all.
And Katie, you've been wonderful. This year has had its twists and turns, and you've navigated them all beautifully. You've kept us all together, and that's really difficult to do when you are a mom of 3 of very small children. So kudos to you. I wish I had your amount of endless energy, and I know that you're going to carry that into your Virginia PTA position. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Matt. I couldn't have done it without, oh, I'm knocking over things, without your support and everybody else. And I have pictures at the end of the board and everything. So you're front loading me. So thank you all. We will keep moving. We do have like a couple more little businessy things to do. Cynthia's turn yet again.
Good evening, everybody. As we brought up at last month's meeting, we're moving forward this year with wanting to propose a summer budget that will relieve some of the burden that we experienced last year and some years prior with the large expenditure that we have for the Zoom expense that we do have to have purchased in early or late August going into September, and then we have to pay that out before we're actually charging out to the PTA unit. So we are proposing this budget, as you see here, to have this ready to go so we can reimburse whoever is incurring this cost next year on behalf of PTAC. So we're proposing a cost of $3,430, which is a 10% increase from what we saw from this past year. And that was based on a pretty kind of sizable increase we saw from the year before.
Thank you. So I think I have to make another motion to call a vote in favor to support the summer budget, right, Cynthia? Okay, so I motion that we vote to approve the summer motion.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, just say aye this time out loud.
Aye.
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 This is kind of fun. It's like a wave. If anyone is opposed, speak now. We will call the summer budget passed. Sorry, passed. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay, and now moving on to our financial report as of May 20th. With our receipts, happy to report that we received from GW Middle School $500 towards our equity fund. And we also received an additional $100 that came through for some additional fundraising from the Spring to Action. So we got some additional receipts come through of $600. And then on the next slide, it was definitely a busy month for us on the expenditure side, which is good. Reflection costs came through. What we did do with this, because we did receive additional costs that came through, we moved some of the budget out of our PTA program support up to reflections, was under the $500 amount. So we didn't have to do any kind of formal budget, but to give some more funding into that area. And that's something we'll look to for next year, to have that as part of our budget as well. But that came through this past month. We gave our scholarship fund grant payment over as well. The PTAC Golden Apple Awards, we got that payment out. And then also some payments out to our local units for some grant equity funds. So 1,550 that we dispersed out. So I know we're still getting requests coming through, so please encouraging the units to submit those. I know we have gotten some just the past day or so, some additional ones for us to be reviewing on. So we'll be taking a look at that to get additional ones granted out as well. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you publicly for all you've done as a treasurer this year, because you have been so organized and on top of everything. And it has been wonderful because yet again, I will say I know nothing about treasuring. I really appreciated it.
Thank you, Katie. Yeah, everyone in this group is amazing. So it definitely will be still staying engaged some ways, but you'll be in very good hands with Vivian. I feel really good with her taking on the position. And yeah, thank you to everyone. You guys are all so great and amazing.
Thank you. Maybe we can pull you back again. I know you have a little one, so just work away. Okay. I can't remember what we have next. Can someone advance? Yes. Okay. Oh, Maureen.
Yes, sorry, off. There we go. I mean, we've gone through these. I just honestly can't believe we're still talking about the budget in late May. So the ACPS was 3.25 million short once you added up what they're getting from Virginia State and then what they're getting from the city council. So they're having to go through another round of add deletes. The final one will be on May 27th, and they've got to get everything approved by June 12th. And then we heard from Chris and Michelle about redistricting dates. I don't know. Katie, is there anything you want to add on that? Yeah.
No, just like FYI.
Yeah.
If you still care, those are your opportunities to weigh in. We all still care. I'm just kidding. It is May, guys.
Yeah. I feel like I don't remember a budget season that has gone so long. Yeah, that's all I got.
Well, thank you, Maureen. I will thank you again for all of your brilliant advice and advocacy and just everything. So thank you. Sue, would you like to, I know you're here. Would you like to share anything?
Just we had the resource fair back in
Yes.
the end of April, and that was pretty great program at the high school. We worked with the engagement, the community engagement at ACPS. Garrison and Daniela worked with communities and schools, the high school, which I'm also a representative there at the high school, and PTAC, and it was what we have probably 50 vendors. There was over 200 people that came. We had multiple language. People I know were getting jobs. They were looking at camp fairs. They were looking at health, mental health, some security and safety. So that was a pretty great event. And we're going to participate in a debrief tomorrow. So I think hoping to expand that summer resource fair next year.
Thank you, Sue. Yeah, we were thinking it'd be great when we email the camp fair people to also invite them to be at the resource fair. Could be like, so we'll see what communities and schools says. Next slide, please. Oh, so here's where I had my thank you. I took some pictures, some of the things that we have all done together. We started out the year on the left at a Patrick Henry picnic and then a little meet and greet with the PTA leaders. We did a safety forum in the middle, which was an adventure. And then we had a reflections event, which was awesome. Krista and Pallavi are not here, but I have high hopes that we will be able to pull that off again next year. It was such a fun event to see art and celebrate some good news. Meta and some other PTA members went down for Advocacy Day next year, which I'm going to be like really recruiting you all to come next year because apparently that's my new job. And so I think it was a great opportunity to talk to some senators and mention the needs up here in Northern Virginia. And then we ended the year with some fun. We ended with some Golden Apple Awards. Some of us went to SFA, which is always a fun event, the gala, and then Virginia PTA Day. So I just wanted to thank the whole board for all that you have done. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the units that have been coming to our meetings all year. I know you have so much to do, and this is one more thing, but I hope we've shared good information that is helpful for you to know. And don't, totally check out. We do have a few things left, like they said, redistricting, budget, and then some summer financial swaps so that your units are ready to go come next year. So thank you all. I really appreciate it. And then the next slide, I think, is just a reminder. We will start turning over email boxes come July 1. So we'll give our newly elected officers a little bit of, they can end the year. And then you'll start hearing from new people when you email us. So just that's an FYI for you all. And thank you again. So does anyone have any questions?
Do we want to just mention briefly, Katie?
Yes, we do. I'm sorry, Julia. Thank you.
No,
You did
you're
remind me
fine.
and I forgot already. So tomorrow we are going to the SFA scholarship awarding ceremony. The ceremony where we give out the awards to the students who are graduating, and we are really, really excited. We are giving out one award in honor of Dina Penner. If you did not know Dina Penner, she was part of PTAC. She passed away last year, and she was what I would say was a fierce special education advocate for many, many years, and an inspiration for a lot of parents, and did so much good helping better outcomes for special education students. So we are awarding a scholarship in honor of her tomorrow. And so we're really excited. I did get word that her husband may be able to come. And I have a lovely thank you note that I will share from the child who is getting the award. And we're just very excited. So thank you for reminding me, Julia, that we will be doing that tomorrow. Jen, I see your question. We did have a meeting on the agenda for 6/11. However, given the way this year has gone and the number of things that are happening in June, we decided we did not need that. So you are free to do something else. Go to a school board meeting, maybe. It could be fun. I don't know. I know Terry's like, what? Okay.
I'm
That
going to say, how about we just meet at for social somewhere? That sounds
could
more
be fun
fun
too.
than the school board meeting.
I'm really no fun, guys. I'm sorry. Just so that is all I have. We will let you know if we do a casual med up. We'll send a maybe we can meet at we did Taqueria Picosa once. It was very fun. Yeah, so maybe we'll let you all know if people are in favor. It would be nice to see you all in real life and not as a little square on my screen. So does anybody else have any questions? Okay, well, thank you all. We did it. And we're almost at the end of the year. And my son tells me there's like 12 more days. I'm not really sure. His teacher is counting. Good luck to you all. Keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.